This is Robert Harper with Virginia Farm Bureau's Grain Division. Glad to bring you the Merchandiser Minute today, Friday, June 25th, 2021. I was reminded today by a coworker here at Farm Bureau that today is Virginia's birthday, our statehood birthday going all the way back to 1788. So happy birthday to Virginia. What a week for Virginia agriculture. A lot of you have been busy on the farm doing everything under the sun, and one of which was harvesting a lot of wheat, getting over a lot of wheat acres this week, getting a lot of double crop beans planted. Congratulations to you for the work that you've done and what you'll continue to do here until the end of the week. Let's take a look at how the futures markets closed in Chicago. December corn, your new crop futures contract down 47 cents a bushel this week to close at $5.19. November soybeans down 44 cents a bushel this week to close at $12.69. In July wheat, the last week we'll be talking about that futures contract, down 25 cents a bushel for the week to close at $6.37. All of these futures contracts gapped lower on the open Sunday night at 8 p.m. with favorable weather forecasted for the northern plains and for the majority of the Corn Belt. And it was really just a down week all week long with the influences that we had on the market, as you can hear by those prices and as you watch this week as the trade worked itself out. Let's take a look at some numbers that we got from the USDA. If we go back to Monday's crop progress report telling us what the conditions were as of last week, Virginia topsoil 72% adequate to surplus, and we know on Tuesday of this week most of you all received measurable rainfall. I've heard anywhere from those that did receive rainfall from 4/10 to 1.5 inches. So we should see that number go up some on Monday. Virginia corn rated at 76% good to excellent. Virginia beans 65% good to excellent. USA corn 65% good to excellent rating. We did see that rating drop a little bit this week. Illinois and Iowa were the two states that were down the most. If we look back at last year on the U.S. corn rating, we were at 72% for this week, 65 now. If we look at U.S. beans, we come in at 60% good to excellent. A year ago this week, that rating was at 70%. The Monday export loadings report, as expected, China, Mexico, Indonesia, and the Philippines were the top destinations for your production. Sales were in line with expectations from what I saw. And we did get an interesting opportunity this week to see another flash sales announcement with a purchase of about 12 million bushels of new crop soybeans. But again, with favorable weather in the majority of the Corn Belt and even some relief to temperature and moisture in the northern plains, even that flash sales announcement couldn't get the sellers out of the market this week, even on Wednesday when we saw that. And that was really the story this week. We know we're in a weather market. We know that the speculators are sensitive to information around weather, monetary policy, politics, all those things. But we also know they're very sensitive to month end and quarter end next week. On Wednesday, it's not only month end and quarter end on June the 30th, but we know we'll be getting the all anticipated planted acres report, as well as the quarterly stocks report, what was in the bin on June the 1st. And it really felt like this week, with the influences that we had, the buyers just weren't in the market. The participants wanted to sell to get out of long contracts that they already held, and just making plans and preparing for next Wednesday's month-end, quarter-end, and acre report. We did see some news this week of another grain analyst in China that, I guess the right word is, not available or went missing. We know we've had multiple stories this year of news agencies there that report on agriculture, as well as at least one other story of a popular grain analyst that generated a lot of information about the Chinese ag world and industry not being available or not generating information anymore. We saw a story on that again this week, and it just leads to a lot of speculation about information that we get out of that country. We did see this week from Argentina that they say that their soybean harvest is now completed, their corn harvest is 50% completed, and that their wheat crop is about 70% in the ground. We definitely don't want to forget about South America and their production. even this time of year when all the weather is focused on North America and all of the attention is focused on North American production. Last week we talked a little bit about over the phone, and I think in this space also about just the skyrocketing value of the dollar in last week's trade. This week's trade, we saw a very different price action, a very choppy trade, but we know how important that dollar futures value is to what we sell overseas. We want to keep our eye close on that, and call Josie or I to discuss that, and we can go into some detail on it. And I think maybe one of the biggest stories of the week came out today, one of the biggest stories that will be an influence. We did see the Supreme Court rule today on biofuel waivers, and they ruled in favor of the oil refiners in a 6-3 vote. Obviously, this has potential to change the renewable fuel standard and how it's used by refiners, what the federal government requires of refiners. We'll see how it plays out, what this ruling will mean to the states, the refiners in the states that will impact. But I encourage each of you to take some time and read about that over the weekend as we go into next week. So again, next week we're going to be watching for the June 30th stocks and acre report. Give us a call, Josie or I, if we can help you talk about marketing decisions before that report, if we want to get some wish orders put in preparation, or let us have some conversations if you do have any old crop bushels that are still unpriced. Give us a call so we can talk about that too. We wish you safety on the farm and look forward to talking to you next time. This is Robert, the Farm Bureau's Grain Division.